Thank you, my friend. So something to write with and something to write on today as we talk about our database. And so first and foremost, thank you for being with us today. Happy Friday. There are multiple ways to grow a real estate business. There are multiple ways. And if you were on the call the other day, there are many agents that have built a business based on their database, repeat referral, without outbound prospecting, right? Um, Over the years, the statistics have shown that if you have 500 people in your database, just use that as an average, if you have 500 people in your database, you can expect a 10% return on real estate sales coming out of that database. So if you have 500 people in a database, you should get 50 deals that come out of it. If you have 100 people in your database, you should have 10 deals. Now, what that is not 50 deals directly out of those 500, right? It might be 20, but you might then get 30 referrals that turn into a piece of business, right? So when you think about database, I want you to think about 10% of however many people that know you, like you, trust you. Okay. The easiest way in our business to get business, one of the easiest ways, it might not be the easiest, but it's one of the easiest, is to focus on our database. So, how do we do that? So, today I'm going to share with you 3 ways to get more business from your database. I'm going to share with you 5 databases that you should have. And then I'm going to share with you a formula on how to work your database. Okay. So let's jump in. 3 ways to get more business from your database. Let's think about that. If we have 100 people in our database, one of the easiest ways to get more business from it is to grow the size of our database. It's to add more people to it. The easiest way to increase the amount of business from our database is to grow it. So that would be going to an open house and when people sign in, adding them to the database. It could be just making more friends. It could be going to more networking events. Growing the size of our database is one of the easiest ways to get more business from our database. The second way to grow, or I'm sorry, the second way to get more business from our database is to provide more value to it. Is to provide more value to it. So as you're growing your database and then you're providing more value to your database, that might mean they forward your email to a friend. Hey, my realtor sent me this. You might be interested. And now they're becoming part of your database, providing value to it. And the third way to get more business from your database is to do step 1 and step 2 at the exact same time. And you might laugh and go, that's silly. And yet, if we're growing our database and providing more value to it, and we do those consistently at the same time, naturally, we're going to increase and get more business from our database. Naturally, we're going to do that. So if we know we want to increase the size of our database, we're going to grow it and we're going to provide more value to it, and we're going to do both of those at the same time. Let's talk about 5 different databases that you should have as a real estate agent that you can grow, provide more value to, and do both at the same time. Okay. So draw a line under the 3 ways to get more business from your database. And number 1, I want you to write down past clients and sphere of influence. So that's the first database I want you to start building. And whether it's in a Google Sheet or whether it's in Excel or a notebook or whatever it is, I want you to take the time to think back as far, so go back into the Wayback Machine and go as far back as you can remember and start writing down every single past client that you've sold a home to and every single person that you have in your sphere of influence that's not already in some sort of database. And then I want you to add them to it. I want you to add them to it. So that's going to be your past client and sphere of influence database. The second database that I want you to add, so number 2, is going to be the exchange database. The exchange database. Now, the exchange database is not past clients and it's not sphere of influence. The exchange database might be somebody that you met at a networking event, but you've never done a deal with. It might be somebody that submitted a request through your website for a CMA or a home value, but never ended up listing with you. It could be a buyer that you met at an open house that you showed a couple homes to, but ultimately didn't end up purchasing. Okay. So when you think about your exchange database, these are people that you've had conversations with, that you've met, but you've never transacted business with. That's your exchange database. The third database, so number 3, the third database is your social media database. So these are your friends on Facebook. These are your followers on Instagram. These are the people that you've connected with on LinkedIn. And these are the people that like your crazy dancing realtor videos that you should please stop doing on TikTok, right? So your social media database is your third database. The fourth database that I want you to have is your CRM database. Your CRM database is going to have all of your buyers. It's going to have all of your sellers. It's going to have all of those internet leads that you decided you wanted to try and purchase. Your CRM database is going to have all of your quote unquote leads in it. That is your CRM database. So you could be using Follow Up Boss, KV Core, the Boomtown, Sierra. Pick your database. I don't care which one it is. The one I want you to use is the one that you're going to use. There's no right or wrong. Just everybody has a preference. Use your database. It could even be a Google Sheet, guys. Okay. For those that aren't tech savvy, you could put everybody in a Google Sheet. Whatever. We'll cross that database bridge at a later date, and we'll talk about that. But the fourth database is going to be your CRM database. And then the fifth database that I want you to have, and I don't know if you have it or not, most agents don't actually have this. So if you don't have this database, I want you to give some thought to building it. This is going to be your agent-to-agent referral database, okay? Your agent-to-agent referral database. Now, why do I say that? I say that, and again, I don't know where you live. You could be in Boise, Idaho, Cleveland, Ohio, like me. You could be in sunny Florida. You could be in Louisiana, California, New York. I don't care, right? But we have people that are moving in and out of where we live all the time. And there's an opportunity to build a referral network and a referral business through agent-to-agent referrals, okay? There's an opportunity for that. I'll share with you year to date, my team has earned over $20,000 in agent-to-agent referrals commissions. Those are referrals that we've sent out that other agents have sold, and we have received referral income from. Over $20,000, and we're 4 months through the year. Not bad, right? Agent-to-agent database. So we covered 3 ways to get more business from your database. And again, those were to grow the size, to provide value to it, and to do 1 and 2 at the exact same time. We then talked about 5 different databases that I want you to have in your business or start working to implement in your business. But what I want you to think about for a second is most of us work about 250 days a year on average, right? We're going to take some vacation time. We're not going to work 365 days. We might work 250. What would your business look like if you added one person to your database every one of those days, every one of those working days? If you added one person per day, that would be 250 people that you would add to your database in the year. In 4 years, you'll have 1,000 people added to your database. So something as small as one person over time can bring you massive results if we just start. Some of us today aren't going to start, and we're going to choose not to. I hope you're one of those people that are going to choose to take action on this, because what I know is most of us aren't actively prospecting for sellers. Most of us aren't actively prospecting for buyers. Most of us, what we're doing is we're sitting on our paperweight, waiting for the phone to ring, scrolling through Instagram, liking posts on Facebook, and waiting for somebody to say, hey, I want to sell a house. Hey, I need to buy a house. And while I'm not here to judge the way that you're doing that, not here to judge, zero judgment. How you choose to run your business doesn't affect me. What I'm going to challenge you, though, is to provide value to enough people that you can add one person to your database every single day. One person to your database every day. Now, what would your business look like if you added 250 people to your database in the rest of this year? What would your business look like? Because again, if what we know is that your database is going to turn over 10% in 12 months, you're going to get 10%. If you took what you already had in your database and added 250 people, how many people do you have on December 31st? Do you have 1,000 people? Because at 10%, that's 100 deals. Let's say you get to 1,000 people, but you're not going to convert at 100 at 10%. Rich, there's no way those numbers are wrong. Fine, call it 80%. That's 80 deals. If you were able to get 80 deals out of your database, people that know you, like you, and trust you, 80 deals. What does your life look like? What does your business look like? What vacations are you taking? What bills are you paying off? I don't know where you live. I don't know what your average commission is. But I would argue that if, let's just say on the low end, your average commission was $5,000 and you did 80 deals at $5,000, what would life look like if you were making another $400,000 on top of the business that you've already closed so far this year? Would anybody's life, this is a low end, guys, a $5,000 commission. I know some of you that you're listening to this, you're watching this. Some of you live in an area where your average commission is $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. What does your life look like if you take your average commission and multiply it by whatever adding 250 people to your database looks like? You're sitting there and you're probably like, Rich, I get it. I can make a ton of money if I add people to my database. If I grow my database, Rich, I get it. I can make a ton of money if I grow it. I can make a ton of money if I provided value. And I can make a ton of money if I grow it and provide value at the same time. But Rich, how the hell do I do it? What is the formula? Well, that's a great question, and I'm so glad you asked because I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you. So what I want you to do is I want you to turn to a clean sheet of paper. I want you to turn to a clean sheet of paper and going down your column. So you got rows going across and you got columns going down. I want you to go 4 by 4 by 1 by 12. 4 by 4 by 1 by 12. Okay. And this is how we're going to build and work our database. The first 4 are 4 phone calls. 4 phone calls a year. 4 phone calls a year. The second 4 are 4 pieces of direct mail a year. 4 mailings a year. The 1 is a client event. 1 client event a year. And the 12 are 12 infotaining emails a year. 12 infotaining emails a year. Now, let's go back to the 4 calls. Let's talk about the 4 calls. Rich, what the hell am I supposed to say to these people? Why am I calling them 4 times a year? What am I supposed to say to them? I'm going to tell you what I say to them. The first call takes place in the first quarter of the year. And it's an I have a goal call. And it might sound like, hey, Claire, it's Rich. I hope you had a great holiday. What are your goals for the year? I was thinking about you. What are your goals for the year? Awesome. Thank you for sharing. If I can just share with you, my goal is to help 100 people buy or sell real estate this year. It's a pretty big goal. I think I can do it, but I might need your help. If you know anybody thinking about buying or selling a house, could you do me a favor and just send them my way, make an introduction? And obviously, if I can help you achieve your goals, I'm absolutely going to. Would that be okay? Listen, thank you so much. That's the first phone call in the first quarter. The call in the second quarter is an invitation to our client event. The call in the second quarter is an invitation to our client event. Now, again, I have a business in Cleveland, Ohio, and I have a business in Sarasota, Florida. So you might think that our busy season in Cleveland might be slightly different than our busy season in Florida. Okay. So I want you to shift this second call to before your busy season starts. Okay. Before your selling season starts. And here's why. I want your client event to lead into your busy season. I want your client event to lead into your busy season. So here in Cleveland, our client event should be somewhere in April, May, or June. Probably April or May. My business in Florida, our client event is probably going to be in the fall, as people are getting ready to sell as they get into season. Does that make sense? As all those snowbirds decide they're going to drive south, I want that to be where my client event falls. Okay. But the second phone call is an invitation to your client event. The second phone call is an invitation to your client event. The third phone call takes place in June. The third phone call takes place in June. And it is, again, an I have a goal call. And it's, hey, Claire, it's Rich. It's great to talk to you. I'm so glad you were able to come to our client event. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, listen, when we talked in January, you shared your goals with me. How, we're about halfway through the year. How are you doing to your goals? Awesome. That's so great to hear. I'm so happy that you're on track. Hey, listen, my goal is 100 homes. I'm sitting right at about 40. I'm not quite at 50% of where I'm going. If you hear of anybody this summer thinking about buying or selling a house, can you please send them my way? And listen, of course, as I hear people talking about and what your business is and what you're doing, I'm going to send them to you. I know I sent Mary to you earlier this year. I hope she was a great client. The fourth call is in November. The fourth call is in November. It's probably the first or second week in November. And it's before all of those Friendsgivings or Friendsgivings and Thanksgiving. Because that's when people are getting ready to see friends and family for the holidays. So those 4 calls are strategically placed throughout the year based on where I need business to come from. Insider trading tip. Your clients don't know that you've strategically placed these calls. They have no idea that these are strategically placed. They just see that Rich is calling Claire, that Rich called Charlie, right? Your client event, so your 1 is a client event. Now, what I'm thinking about for your client event, again, and I told you, like, my client event in Cleveland is going to be late spring, early summer. My client event in Florida is probably going to be in the fall. Okay. I want you to time your client event to where your business starts to take off. You want to do something before. Okay. This client event does not need to be huge, but this is for your VIPs. This is for your VIPs. This is for the people that sent you a referral, that tagged you in that Facebook group that said, hey, I need a realtor. And they said, call Rich. It's those people. It's the people that maybe had a life event that you think might be going to transact in real estate. I want you to get strategic with your client events. I want you to go to your partners, your mortgage, your title, your insurance, your home inspector, your photographer. I want you to get their buy-in and support for your client event. And I want you to do something at a client event that's at least 90 minutes. Because I want you to have the ability to interact with your people, to be with and around your people. Some people choose to do more than one client event. And listen, if you have the ability to do that, I would say do one in the spring and one in the fall. Here in Northeast Ohio and Cleveland, the best time of year to take outdoor family pictures is like September, October, as the leaves start to change. Listen, I'm probably going to go to my photographer and go, well, listen, what's your day rate? I want you to sit at this park in front of this bench, and for 15 minutes, I want you to take pictures of all of my clients. And we might do a fall family picture. I know I have a friend in Florida, right around the Strawberry Festival out there around Tampa area. They do have an event around the Strawberry Festival, and that's their client event in Florida. I know I got another friend in Sarasota. They did this years ago. They were the 4th of July boat races, right there on Siesta Key. Yes, it was Siesta, I think. They would put up these massive tents, bring in a caterer, and they would get to the beach at like 5 a.m. as soon as it opened, throw up tents, and their client party was at the boat races at the beach. They had it catered, and it was a big blowout event. But their clients knew every year this is what they were going to do, and they looked forward to it, and that was their thing, right? So the 12 are 12 infotaining emails. This is not an email of, hey, a new home just got listed for sale. That is not what these emails are. These are 12 emails that provide value to the masses. So it could be the 5 best places to watch 4th of July fireworks. It could be the 14 best places to go trick-or-treating. And your email subject could be, these neighborhoods give out the best candy. Make it up. I don't know. Chat GPT and Google are great for this. Best things to do in Cleveland in June. My friends in Florida, you guys get rain almost every day in the summer. Best things to do in a rainy day in Tampa. 5 best places to take your kids in Boise, Idaho. Took my family to Montana 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point, maybe. We went to Big Sky. Big Sky is not a place that you want to take little kids, by the way. Learned that the hard way. Went to, one day it was raining, and we needed something to do with a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a less than 1-year-old. So we Googled things to do in Big Sky when it's raining. Guys, it was a realtor's website that I landed on. And they told us about a children's museum. We went there. Infotaining emails.
Hey, Rich.
Yes.
In the chat, Denise put something in there that I think is a way for us to work smarter rather than harder. And Denise put a great comment. So Denise, what Rich is talking about so far as those information emails, I also put those on social media as well.
Yeah, do both.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
both.
Yeah, but I don't do one or the other. I do both.
Listen,
Okay.
here's the thing. If you're gonna take the time to have the graphic created, if you're gonna take the time to have the blog post written, you might as well do it twice. It takes what, 14 more clicks?
Yeah.
Not it's not. And like what I would do, what I would do if it's me is I would do a video. This is how rich this is how I would do it. I would do a video that says, hey, it's Rich. Is it a rainy day in Cleveland? Here are the 5 best places that you should take your kids on a rainy day in Cleveland. And then I would bring in a picture of the Children's Museum. I would bring in a picture of the Science Center. I would bring in a picture of whatever. And then I would take that and I would make it a blog post that can then go on my website. I would then make it a reel that I can put on Instagram or Facebook. I would then take it and make it a graphic that I can put in an email. If I'm going to do it once, I want to make sure that I can give it legs. Does that make sense? Everything I do needs to have legs so that so the content can evergreen. And what I mean by evergreen is the content just, it lives. It's not time specific. Now, you might say, Rich, I send way more emails, or I send way more mail. And that's awesome. You should. You should. Like, one of the things that we do for our VIPs, every quarter, we send a VIP mailing. So that's in addition to the 4 mailings that they're going to get. It's in addition to the 4 mailings they're going to get. And if you notice, we skipped mailings. We went calls, event, emails, coming back now to mailings. There's a mailing that goes out on January 15th, no later than January 15th. And it is a year in review letter. This goes out to every single person you have an address for. This is the year in review letter. This is every highlight reel that you had in 2023 or 2024 or whatever year it is. These are how many homes we sold. This is the cool vacation we took with the family. This is how I gave back. And this is my goal for the upcoming year. and here's how you can help me. That mailing goes out no later than January 15th. Now, what you could do on mailing number 2 is, and I'm going to show this to you. So if you're not watching this, just imagine a 5x7 postcard, and it says "Happy Cinco de Mayo. Enjoy a taco on me." Signed, Nacho Average Realtor. Nacho Average Realtor. Is it corny? Hell yeah. Does it work? Hell yeah. Do people love it? Oh, hell yeah. So you can do it a couple different ways. You can go to Taco Bell and buy a bunch of $5 gift cards. Or what I did is I went to a local taco shop called Condado Taco here in Cleveland. And I went to them and said, hey, I'm going to buy 100 $5 gift cards. And I want to mail these to my clients.
Hey,
So,
Rich, another thing that we do in our group is we do pie day on pie day, and it's not a sweet pie, it's pizza pie. So we,
14.
so with our local pizzeria, if they bring in that card, then they are allowed to have their to go home pie. And so through that, then they charge my card because it has to be redeemed within a certain week.
Mm-hmm.
So pie day on pie day, that's one of the things that we do.
Pie day on pie day, 100%. 100%. And it's, partnering with a local shop like that is awesome, right? Because now you're gonna promote their business. In exchange, they're going to naturally want to promote you. So that your second quarter mailing goes to your VIPs. Your third quarter mailing, you can choose. I'm sorry, yeah, your third mailing of the year, you can choose to do an update to your year in review, or you can choose to do another VIP box. You can choose to do another VIP box. Your fourth mailing is a holiday card. Your fourth mailing is a holiday card. And that is going to get sent between November 14th and December 2nd. November 14th and December 2nd. Now, I say November 14th, and you're like, well, but I just called everybody November 2nd, those first 2 weeks of the year, and now I'm mailing something? Yes, and here's why. If you send magnets, if you send like those, like your holiday magnet or your 2020, your next year calendar, you need to be the first one on the fridge because they're only going to put one up. So if you're first, you make the fridge. If you're second, you might make a filing cabinet or the trash. So you want to be first. And again, it goes back to, so you want to be first for that reason, but you also want to be first because we're leading into the time that most people see friends, family. We see more people in November and December than we do the rest of the year. So we talked about 3 different ways to get more business from our database. We talked about growing its size, providing value, and doing both of those at the same time. We then talked about the 5 different databases that we should have, and that if we don't have them, we should start to build them. We then wrapped up with a building and working your database through the 4x4 by 1x12. Do you think you have an action plan that you can take away today, start implementing, and in 90 days, get a piece of business? Do you think that you can go find at a minimum $5,000 in business that you could put on your table in your bank account in the next 90 days? The goal of our calls on Fridays, guys, is production based. The goal of our calls are what can we do this weekend and into next week to put business in our business. I hope you found value in today. These calls are obviously recorded. They're a YouTube channel. the GPS YouTube channel, and I will share with you. I also take these calls, and I have. I'm going to put the link in the chat, but I also break them down into a podcast format where they're chunked down into small doses. The link is in the chat. If you want to go back and just listen to it again, you can do that. We're a week behind, so whatever we're talking. So this week's call will be next week. Okay, so I want you to be able to just know that you can revisit this workshop next week. But the goal of our Friday calls are how can we get into action? How can we get into productivity to increase and grow our business so that we can one, live an unreal life, and two, so that we can make more money to do the things that we love with the people that we love. What questions do you have? What comments do you have that we can take the next 2-3 minutes and digest?
So Rich, one of the things that has helped me with this type of system, which I've used for so long, is if I don't put it on my calendar when I'm doing my business planning in October, it doesn't execute itself because I can't get my budget out. I can't figure out which vendors are doing what. And I have to have these things strategically placed on my calendar in order to make sure they're executed. Because if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So that's one of the things that has worked for me.
Yeah, and to your point, maybe take 30 minutes, 45 minutes and look at what do you want to do for the rest of the year. That's what I encourage my team to do. I encourage not I don't make them send the Cinco de Mayo thing. Some of them, when we get into spring, they go to the dollar store and they buy a bunch of yellow rubber gloves, like those dishwashing gloves you can get at the dollar store. And it's a spring cleaning. Other times they might go around Thanksgiving and they might go back to the dollar store and get a bunch of turkey basters. And their message might be, don't waste your time with a poor agent. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call me, right? It's the goal. The goal is to provide value, and the goal is to be impactful, so that they remember you. One thing that we did in December is we sent a lotto holiday cheer. So again, we went back to our 5x7 and we went and bought $101 scratch off tickets. And we sent a lotto holiday cheer to our VIPs. And then we'd get text messages. I won $1, I won $2.50 or whatever it was. Or we got a bunch that said, hey, your lottery ticket that you sent me, something was wrong with it. I didn't win. Right? It's thinking about ways that we can be impactful to the people that we need and want to stay top of mind with. What else? What's going through your head right now? Talk to me. Nothing. You're like Rich, it's Friday, it's 9:12 in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee and my jammies. I got golf on my mind. Like this, I'm not even awake yet. And listen, I get it. I get it. It's Friday. It's the day before the Star Wars Day and the weekend of the Derby and Cinco de Mayo. It's a busy weekend. You got to rest. I get it. Well, listen, if you don't have anything, I appreciate you for being on the call this morning. Thank you so much. If you have anything that you need or want, you know who to reach out to. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your weekend. Be productive, and we will see you on Tuesday. Later.